Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. I can't believe I didn't think about this before. Of course Diddy's having freak-offs in jail. There's all dudes there. Men in jail are fighting over making Diddy's bed. That's crazy work. The money just keeps coming in for Mike Tyson. Now he's getting offers to show his. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Wednesday morning, my third favorite day of the week. It's Hump Day. We are 2 days away from the weekend. I got a great show set up for you guys today. I got 4 lead stories. We're going to kick it off talking about Donald Trump not having any black people picked in his cabinet. Then we have some news on Diddy, Diddy's sons, and Ray J. Then we're going to jump into quick news. We're going to talk Candace Owens, Mike Tyson, Beyoncé, Kith Lee, and Kendrick Lamar. As we always do, we're going to close out the show with question of the day and a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. All right, we have another breaking story around Diddy. It's hard to keep up, I'm telling you. We plan as much as we can with this show, but there is breaking news almost daily with Diddy. All right, everybody was freaking out today. Oh my gosh, there's a major emergency with Diddy. They're going to court. I told you guys 2 days ago that they were going to go to court today. I had reporters like on Instagram literally saying things like this. Take a listen.
I just confirmed with the Southern District spokesperson that there is an emergency hearing on the Diddy case happening today at 3 o'clock.
So this is all Diddy's bail hearing. Last week, the defense had a chance to give what they're going to talk about this Friday, November the 22nd. Then the prosecution had their chance to rebut that. In the rebuttal, it was found out on Friday that there was notes that were found in Diddy's jail cell. I told you guys yesterday that his team made an emergency injunction that says, hey, we need to come to court and we need to talk about this. This is violating Diddy's amendment rights, his constitutional rights, his 4th, 5th, and 6th constitutional rights. You guys cannot do this. This is stuff between himself and me, his lawyer. These things cannot be used. That's why they had to come into court. This was planned at 3 p.m. So I'll read to you what's happening. This is actually a win. This is Diddy's first win in court. He actually had 2 wins. His lawyers also asked last night for him not to be shackled anymore in court. That's something that lawyers like to ask so that the defendant doesn't look like he's already guilty. So he used to be coming to jail with his legs shackled. Now he has no shackles on. So that was one win. And his win, I'll still read you the article, but his win is the stuff that they found in his jail cell, those notes about him bribing witnesses and all that stuff, they cannot be used against him in his bail hearing. Let me read it to you. Diddy appeared in court today for a hearing over how prosecutors came in possession of handwritten notes following the search of his jail cell. According to Reuters, the mogul was wearing a loose-fitting beige jail t-shirt and hugged his defense attorney, Mark, when he came in. He let out a smile before sitting down at the defense table in front of the U.S. District Judge in the Manhattan court. He's smiling because of the shackles, okay? Lawyers for Diddy wrote in a Monday filing that the notes concerned defense witnesses and strategies and were subject to attorney-client privileges. These legal doctrines safeguard confidential communication between the lawyer and the client. In addition, the defense lawyer claimed the seizure of the notes are a violation of Combs' right to a fair trial, as well as the protection against self-incrimination and unreasonable searches and seizures under the U.S. Constitution. Prosecutors for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan said that the notes disclosed Combs paying off potential witnesses, demonstrating he is trying to obstruct justice. Prosecutors also said that the investigators took photos of the notes during a broad and pre-planned search of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, October the 28th, by various federal agencies. The investigation could lead to more charges against Combs, as the photographs can be used as fair game as evidence. All right, so yes, those photographs and things can be used in separate charges. The point is that it cannot be used in his bail hearing that is coming up this Friday. Okay. Diddy has a bigger chance now of being let out on a Friday. I already told you guys yesterday and last Friday. I'm going to do a special episode Friday. I think his hearing is at like 3:00, and we'll do a special episode and give you guys the rundown if Diddy gets out, maybe even if he doesn't get out. But this is a huge win. The shackles are off. He gets to come to court looking like an innocent man, appearing like an innocent man, and everything that they just found in his jail cell will no longer be admissible on Friday for the bail hearing. And another thing that the judge said was that one of the things that his defense attorney is trying to use is the CEO from Abercrombie and Finch. He got out on a $10 million bond, and they want more information. If they're going to use that as precedent, they have to come with more examples. Sorry, I'm just rushing because I wasn't prepared for all this. I got to shout out Roberta for sending me this. She is a listener of the Trying Out Loud podcast. Let me just get her full name here. Yeah, so Roberta, I won't give out her last name, but shout out to Roberta for sending me this even before it even hit the blogs. I was in the middle of recording, then threw this in here. So shout out to Roberta, one of our listeners, for sending this to us. Then it's now just hitting on some blogs, but this is breaking news. Big win for Diddy. The bulk of what the prosecution is going to use on Friday is no longer admissible. They're going to be able to talk about the Abercrombie and Finch CEO getting bail. They're going to use that as precedent. And although that is two separate cases, I don't know if that's really going to help, but it's going to come down, like I said a couple of days ago, it's going to come down to the dirty money artist, Kalena, if her saying that, hey, Diddy didn't badger me. He didn't call me. He didn't call me 50 times. Badgering me. He called me 50 times because that's my brother. That's my homie. If they can't use that, then the prosecution's case is very, very, very weak. Then it comes to if he's a flight risk or not. And I already told you he's not a flight risk. Diddy is way too famous to hide out anywhere in the world. So Diddy's chances are looking very good for getting out on bail. Just to reiterate, I don't know if I said this or not. I'm not advocating for him to come out or not. I just get excited with all the breaking news and giving it to you guys. I'm not on anybody's side. Of course, everything that he did with Cassie and that he's accused of doing is, of course, bad. So this is nowhere a reflection of myself or the Trend Out Loud team of if we want Diddy to get out or not. We are just bringing you guys the news. All right. So comment below. Let me know what you think about this. Send me emails, trendoutloud@cfqr600.com. Let's go to our lead stories. No black people in Donald Trump's cabinet, not black jobs. All right. I found this article online. I heard a lot of people kind of, whispering and talking about this, and it hasn't really hit any mainstream publications. I haven't seen anybody make a big deal about this. So, of course, I wanted to bring it here to get your guys' opinion about it. Before we start talking about any politics, I also have to remind you guys, we are not left. We are not right. We are not red. We're not blue. We are a purple independent podcast. We do have a lot of Donald Trump listeners and, of course, Kamala Harris listeners. And just wanted to get all the people who are Donald Trump fans, I wanted to get your opinion on this, okay? Donald Trump has made his top cabinet picks. To date, there is not one single black person in the cabinet. This is the least diverse cabinet in recent American history and by far the least qualified. Remember when Trump and MAGA referred to Lloyd Austin as a black man who was a retired four-star general as a DEI pick when President Biden selected him as his defense secretary. Now, Donald Trump has selected Pete Buttigieg, a random Fox Weekend host with alleged accusations against him, as his Secretary of Defense. Also, Trump is ordering the FBI not to even conduct background checks on his picks, unqualified and unable to pass background checks. The article goes on to say, where is Senator Tim Scott and Congressman Byron Donalds, who accompanied Donald Trump at all of his stunts that he pulled to court black votes? They haven't even been given a cabinet position yet. Somebody else tweeted and it said, Trump received 22 of black men's vote, and he has not picked a black man yet to be in his cabinet. Scott and Byron Donalds should have been selected within 48 hours of the win with their fake barbershop visits. This is just sad. And what about Ben Carson, who is actually a real doctor? Where is he? All right, so let's skip the whole fake barbershop stuff. I don't like when people say all that, but I do want to know, does this article and does this tweet bring a point that Senator Tim Scott, Byron Donald, and yes, Ben Carson, who is a doctor, like him or not, how come none of those three men are in the cabinet as of yet? It's not finished, but they're not in the cabinet. They haven't been nominated at all. And I think it's, my gosh, it's close to, I'm looking at a picture here. I don't know. I think it's at least 25 people so far. I don't know how much room is left. I remember Tim Scott was going hard for Donald Trump. He even got married, a quick marriage, just in case that he was selected as VP. Won't get into that part of it. But what are your thoughts about Donald Trump getting 22% of the black male vote and not seeing any diversity, and this being his least diversified, the least diversified cabinet in American history? Quickly, not to give too much of my opinion, because I don't want to sway the comment section below, is that I will say that when President Biden was running in 2022, he said that he would select a black woman as his vice president, and then he selected Kamala Harris. He also said that he would appoint a black woman to be on the Supreme Court, which he did. So while he was running and he was campaigning, he did say that he knows how much the black vote supports him, especially black women, and he wants to give back to them, which he did. When Donald Trump was running, he never said anything about doing anything for black people, for black votes, or to put any black person in his cabinet. So if you're running on a campaign and you don't say anything, should anybody really be surprised that this is happening? Because he never said that during any time on his campaign trail. I might be wrong, but from what I know, and I followed it pretty closely, there's not. So anyways, I just put this question to you. Send me an email, trendoutloud@cfqr600.com, or comment below and let me know your thoughts on Donald Trump's cabinet pick not having any diversity at all. All right, our second lead story, the story I'm really excited to get to. Tory says groupie inmates are fighting to make Diddy's bed. The mogul is encouraging prisoners to smile. Not much of an article here. All it says is Diddy got men fighting over who's making his bed, allegedly. I have a little clip from Tory, but I also just want to be fair journalism. This is not Tory's story. This was covered, I think, a couple of days ago by another journalist in New York. I have her interview after, but Tory is the one who's making the rounds. I guess he's a bigger personality, but anyways, here is a little clip from Tory, and then we'll go to the actual interview where you're hearing a man saying that Diddy has men fighting over making his bed in jail. Take a listen to Tory.
Some of the men locked up with Diddy are fighting for the opportunity to make his bed? There are like groupies among the inmates who want to do special things for Diddy and might even get jealous of another man who gets to make his bed or do other special nice things for Diddy.
All right, let's stop there or go to the actual interview. I just wanted you to hear it from him because the other audio is not perfect, but also when he says special things for Diddy. All right, let's go to the actual interview. All right, take a listen closely.
Have any interaction with him at all while you were inside?
No, he's cool.
How were the other guys treating him?
They was groupies. They were being around him. If there was a dude that was making his bed for him or doing something special for him, they would hate on a dude like that.
Making his bed or doing something special for him. So when I got a hold of that, I made some calls and I spoke to some sources and they were like, duh, Trent, are you joking? Like, you're not using your head. It's Diddy. He likes to have freak offs. we all know that there is men all over in these freak-offs. I mean, if anything, there were more men involved in these freak-offs, especially with Cassie. He would hire men in these freak-offs. Duh, he's in jail with men. And it literally clicked to me like, what? Like, how did I not think about this before? Of course, Diddy is having men in his bed, making his bed, doing all of these things, of course. Then I also found out, this person told me, two people actually confirmed this to me. That's actually very close to the Diddy camp, one being in the Diddy camp, was like, yo, he's not actually even in a jail cell. He's in like a dorm. Like, we're like bunk beds. So he's not even by himself. Like, yo, nighttime is popping in there for Diddy, all right? He is obviously like, who wants to stay in there? Like, we already know, we've talked about it a million times about him trying to get bail. But Diddy, from what I have heard, Diddy is making the best of the situation he is in. And he no longer has to pay for these dudes because they're just right there. And now these stories are coming out that they're fighting over making his bed and doing special things for Diddy. So you heard it here first. All right, our third lead story. Quincy and Christian Combs hit author with cease and desist for writing tell-all book on behalf of Kim Porter. Says he has 5 days to stop the sale. All right, we spoke to you guys about this a couple of weeks ago. This is a follow-up. Nothing too shocking here, but really important details on what might come. All right. Kim Porter's son are fighting to get a book of their alleged mother's diary taken off the market. According to TMZ, Quincy and Christian Combs have sent a cease and desist letter to Courtney Burgees and his attorney. The brothers claim they have the right of heirs to their mother's property, which include any diary entries. Berg alleges he obtained a flash drive containing Kim Porter's personal writing from people close to her and used it to publish the Kim Porter Tell It All. However, Quincy and Christian have denied the existence of such flash drive, calling the claims patently false. They argue that if such a flash drive exists, it would be legally belonging to them. They have a point. The brothers have given Bergs 5 days to hand over Kim's possession, cease all interviews, and stop selling the book. They are also demanding a full account of any money made off the publication. And if Berg fails to comply, he could face a lawsuit. So like I said, this was something that really kind of popped off around 2 weeks ago. Not to get confused with the other book that was on Amazon. I totally even forget that author's name. This is another gentleman who says that first author, excuse me for not remembering his name, but that first author was lying, that he actually was friends with Kim Porter, and he actually is the one that has the actual flash drive that has her real book or diaries in it. And of course, he has some other videos of it, of alleged freak-offs with other celebrities. And he's working with Tony Busby, the lawyer who is suing Diddy with 120 cases. So that's this guy. I haven't heard much about him lately, so I find it a little bit strange that this is just coming up right now, but I wanted to tell you guys about it, that we might start hearing a little bit more about it. I haven't heard anything about his sales being all that great. I don't think it's on Amazon. I don't even know where the book is available, so I don't know what money he's making, but we'll follow up. This guy is pretty key because if his sons are suing him, that means that he definitely has something and they want back that flash drive. So Tony Busby wants that flash drive. Courtney went to court to say that it is his and it belongs to him. And now Diddy's sons are suing him. So, you know, between the family, the Tony Busby, and actually I think Diddy's lawyers made a claim, Courtney is an important piece in this whole Diddy puzzle. So we'll see what happens in the next 5 days. Of course, I'll follow up and let y'all know. All right, in our fourth lead story, Ray J says he and Diddy's sons sat down and settled their difference. During an interview, Ray J stated that he and Diddy's sons put their differences aside. If you recall, Ray J allegedly got into an incident with Quincy, Christian, and Justin Combs outside of a club in October. This, of course, we did cover in October when it happened. I told you guys that I heard from some sources that it wasn't just an argument outside, that Diddy's sons actually put hands on Ray J. We all heard Whack 100 get really upset about this, say that he's going to expose things on Diddy's sons. He came out and said some allegations about Justin being caught with somebody from the gender community. That's all exploded. And now Ray J's coming out saying, oh, yo, after all that, we sat down and we're all boys and we're all friends. I've heard that this is cap. This is Ray J just trying to just quiet down the situation and not have anything blow up. I have heard that they're still not super happy with Ray J, kind of Xing him out because, you know, Ray J was close with the family before. They don't like that Ray J is always going on these interviews and his YouTube channel, trying to build up his views, talking about their father. So what I've heard is that that Ray J is actually just out here saying these things, and it's actually not true. I think I actually have a little clip too, right? Yeah, let's hear a little clip of Ray J saying that the beef is squashed. Take a listen. Tell me if he sounds convincing to you.
As far as Diddy's sons, it's been a lot, and we've worked out our differences.
Bro, it just sounds like cap. You know what I mean? Like if me and my boys are squashed the beef, it wouldn't be like, well, Diddy's sons and I have sat down. It would be like, nah, man, Justin and I, Christian, yo, we're all cool now. You know what I mean? It would have just been like, yeah, we're cool. We're boys. We're brothers. Like, well, when it comes to Diddy's sons, we have sat down and whatever. Ray, stop it, bro. You know, in 2 weeks from now, you're gonna be out here like talking about babe oil and stuff, because y'all know that Ray J has his Raytronics network. He has his YouTube. Like, this is what Ray does, right? So, anyways, love you though, no shade, love Ray J, but yeah, you're capping, bro. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. A woman who goes by the name of Denise Blackhawk has allegedly scammed around 400 people out of $300,000 in total after believing they purchased Taylor Swift tickets for a concert in Toronto. Obviously, that is not her real name, Denise Blackhawk. Oh, I hope it's not her real name. But yeah, the article is just really quick. It's the scammers are having a field day in Toronto with Taylor Swift fans. Listen, I know y'all that are going so crazy over Taylor Swift. Everybody around the world goes crazy for her. I personally don't get it, but I digress. But with anything, whenever there's hysteria, there's always going to be scammers. Like, I just don't understand how y'all could get fooled by that. I remember when I wanted to go see Buju in Jamaica. I was out in Jamaica trying to find tickets, and I was super careful. I luckily actually found tickets from a couple that I actually met out there, and even that I was a little bit weary. I only gave them the money when I was like actually in the concert, you know. So you got to just be super careful. This is nuts. $300,000 and over 400 people. This is crazy. Anyways, be careful, y'all out there. Whatever concert or whatever, don't click on these weird links. And if it's too good to be true, it's because it's not true. Our second quick story: Blue Sky hits 20 million users as people flee X. Blue Sky has hit another major milestone, reaching 20 million users after a huge surge in signups following the U.S. presidential election. The platform gained 5 million new users in just 5 days, benefiting from growing discontent with Elon Musk's former Twitter. Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter. Since late August, Blue Sky user base has jumped from 6 million to 15 million by mid-November, with stars like Lizzo, Gabrielle Union leading the charge. Major outlets like The Guardian and The New York Times have also joined, citing concern over X's toxic environment. While Blue Sky is growing rapidly, it still has a long way to catch up to X's 300 million users and Meta's Threads, which boasts 250 million monthly active users. I told you guys about this. Y'all know I always try to keep you all up to date on things. I told you guys about this last week. Then I told you, I think it was yesterday. And I signed up. I'm officially on Blue Sky. I like it. I think it's really cool over there. I was never a big Twitter person, so I'm not going to be like living on Blue Sky. I'm kind of like done with all the social media apps. I'm just like live on YouTube actually. But hey, I digress. But anyways, anybody who actually really loves Twitter, trust me, go over to Blue Sky. I love to see new things, starting and new social media apps. I love that it's at 20 million. And last time when I talked about it was at 50 million. So we'll see what happens. Let me know if any of you guys sign up. And if you do, make sure you follow Trend Out Loud on Blue Sky. All right, our third quick story. Candace Owens calls out Tina Knowles and Beyoncé, saying the singer does not remember what it means to be authentic anymore. All right, I'm a little late at reporting this. I didn't think it was really going to blow up and be this big of a story. I actually hate covering Candace Owens. She just does these things to troll and to get people talking about her in the news. So it frustrates me, but it's literally blown up this big that Beyonce's mom is answering her. So, of course, I have to talk about it and get y'all opinion on it, all right? Candace Owens isn't done with her comments about Beyonce and Tina Knowles. In a video, Candace said that although she doesn't dislike Beyonce, she feels that B is not authentic. 10 years ago, Jay-Z and Beyonce telling us who to vote for would matter, but it doesn't matter anymore. Actually, it's annoying, she said. Candace continued and said, if you want to start being authentic, maybe give us some answers about Diddy's party. Your husband was close to him. Anyways, so just to give you guys context, and I'm not going to play a clip. I don't like supporting Candace. It's not that I have a problem with Candace. The same thing with Stephen A. Smith, and I love Stephen A. Smith. I just don't like when YouTubers and podcasters do things just to rile you guys up. And I know it works, but I just don't feel like Candace is actually being authentic. I think she's doing this on purpose to get Beyonce's attention. She does things like this on purpose to get Cardi B's attention. Stephen A. Smith says wild things sometimes. It's like, what? Just so that you could get, a viral moment. And I just believe more in longevity instead of a blip on the radar. So Beyonce, so Candace Owens, this all started when Candace Owens was talking about Beyonce getting $10 million from the Kamala Harris campaign. And then Beyonce didn't come out and say that it's not true, but I think her people, like her press came out and said it wasn't true, and they got it taken down off of Instagram. And now Candace is like, oh, Beyonce, Miss High and Mighty Queen Beyonce called her friends at Instagram and had my post taken down. And then now Tina Knowles had to come in and say, we didn't do anything, but it's not true, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So there, for those of you who don't know, but what do you think about this? Do you think that Beyonce did get paid? And do you think that celebrities nowadays have an effect on your vote? That's the one thing I do agree with Candace about, and it's not necessarily hidden. We've talked about this a couple of times, even on my podcast, and I saw it on the news the other day where 46% of all male voters get their news from YouTube and podcasters. They are not watching traditional news anymore. And also with traditional news, they're not actually following and being influenced by celebrities like how it was, like Candace said, 10 or 15 years ago. But what does all that have to do with Beyonce taking $10 million or not? You know what I mean? That's where it was. She said she didn't take it. There's no proof. Candace doesn't have any proof, and it's all spiraled out of control, and it's just gotten crazy. But this is what Candace does. So let me know. You team Candace or you team Beyonce? You think she took the money? Are they influential? Let me know what you think about it all below, all right? Our fourth quick story. Mike Tyson receives a $250,000 offer from a site after his behind was exposed during his boxing match. All right, I'm sure most of you have seen this by now when Mike Tyson was getting interviewed Saturday night by Netflix for his fight with Jake Paul. He turned around and he had these weird kind of boxers on that just had an elastic kind of like at his thigh right up to his butt, and his whole butt was exposed. So of course it went viral everywhere, and now this site is offering him $250,000. According to TMZ, Cam Soda, an entertainment site, extended an offer to the boxer for $250,000 to show his buttocks on camera for 1 hour. The vice president of Cam Soda included the following in his offer and a letter to the heavyweight champion. He said, I understand this offer might be a far cry of what you just raked in from the fight, but let's face it, maybe it's time to hang up the gloves. I think this offer is a perfect way to sketch you in front of the people and perform in a different, less strenuous way. People don't have to worry about Okay, I can't say the rest of that anymore. Okay, it was a little perverted there. But yeah, so this is this site just trying to gain traction and get some clicks or whatever. But let me know if you guys would pay any money to see. I guess it'll probably be like a stream, and you have to get like a membership to come in. But I don't think anybody else wants to see Mike Tyson's butt. Our fifth quick story, the Country Music Awards EP speaks on Beyoncé being snubbed and says she's always invited to sing at the ceremony. Yo, the disrespect. Yo. During a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the show's EP, Robert Denson, was asked about the singer's latest project, Cowboy Carter, being snubbed and receiving 0 nominations from the award show this year. He seemingly danced around the controversy and says, I don't ever comment whether somebody is nominated or not, whether it be Beyoncé or another artist. He also continued and says, is Beyoncé invited? Always, with open arms, complete open arms. And by the way, I absolutely loved working with her. Denton shared that he was the mastermind behind Beyoncé's controversial 2016 Country Music Award performance with the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. He further opened up about the possibility of the 32-time award Grammy winner coming back to the platform. And he continued by saying, I've talked to Beyonce's manager. I don't know. I think 3 times since the Cowboy Carter came out, but I don't know what's going on. They are always welcome. I had a conversation with her manager and said, look, I'm just letting you know the arms are open wide for her. If she wants to perform, if she wants to attend, whatever she would like to do, I just wanted to let you know that she is welcome at the front door. Bruh, the disrespect. Cowboy Carter is nominated at the Grammy Awards, the height for any sort of music platform. You can't get bigger than the Grammys. Cowboy Carter is nominated for Album of the Year, and you're telling me at the Country Music Awards you couldn't get any nominations? And then you want to say, well, she's actually invited to attend? The disrespect. I hope Queen Beyoncé doesn't go anywhere near the Country Music Awards. Yo, I'm pissed. Our sixth quick story, Kith Lee video sparks controversy leading to Seattle restaurant's closure. We haven't heard about Kith Lee in a long time. Fob Sushi Bar in Seattle has closed its doors seemingly after a viral TikTok review by Kith Lee ignited major food safety concerns. The restaurant released a statement saying, in response to a recent food safety concerns, we have decided to close our Fob Sushi location in Seattle and Bellevue until further notice. It all started when Kith Lee posted a video reviewing sushi from Fob Sushi Bar. In the clip, followers spotted movement from one piece of sushi, which some alleged was a worm. Fob Sushi quickly denied the claim, stating on social media that the movement was false and could be attributed to a natural elasticity or pressure from the chopsticks when applied to the food structure. Kith Lee later responded in a follow-up video stating that he didn't even notice the movement while filming, but was told that somebody who visited the restaurant after his video ended up in the hospital. He also called out the restaurant's explanation, disagreeing with their claim that his chopsticks caused the movement. Okay, I'm going to play the video for those of you who are seeing this on YouTube or Spotify. You'll be able to see it. I'll describe it for those of you who cannot see. He takes up a piece of sushi, and you can see just the end little thing of the sushi. There's something moving, but I guess he didn't notice it, and he literally takes the sushi and puts it in his mouth and eats it, and they later found out that it was a worm. So nasty. Anyways, Kith Lee was a good guy. He came out and, like he said, I actually saw the video. It wasn't bashing, whatever. He just said, hey, I did hear that somebody got hospitalized. It wasn't because of my chopsticks. There was actually something there. You could see it clearly on the video, and I think that's why the restaurant was like, all right, we'll close down. Kith Lee is that powerful. So shout out to Kith Lee for handling that properly, and of course to the restaurant for finally closing down. Our seventh quick story, Vitaly caught an alleged Kendrick Lamar associate live on stream trying to meet up with a little person. All right, that's what we're doing now on YouTube, calling him little person because we cannot say the other word, but you guys know what we're talking about, not somebody who's short. Okay, so this is kind of bubbling, but more on Canadian media. It's not really getting picked up, but a lot of Canadians are like, yo, Kendrick Lamar was accusing Drake and of hanging around these people. And, the line and the song and all of that stuff. And they're like, yeah, how come Kendrick Lamar now, how come people in the US are not picking up that Kendrick Lamar's alleged associate now got caught on stream with this person who is very young. And what I want to say about this, like, there's not even any article to read or whatever. What I want to say about this is, look, I'm a big Drake fan too. I want to ride for Drake as much as I can, right? But we cannot get unfair. This person who was caught on stream, and this is what Vitaly does, by the way, for those of you who don't know, he's a YouTuber streamer, and he sets people up and catches them, and then he'll call the authorities on them, or et cetera, whatever. Now, this guy who was caught, who is an alleged associate of Kendrick Lamar, on his Instagram, he has pictures of Kendrick Lamar. Like, that doesn't mean that Kendrick Lamar even knows who this guy is or has anything to do with him. He was in the background of a video and he took a picture. He could literally just be a groupie for all we know. So I just don't think it's fair to try to drag Kendrick Lamar's name down, because this awful human who got caught doing these things had pictures with Kendrick Lamar. So that's, if you guys are wondering, like, it's all over the Canadian blogs. That's why no American blogs or any news media is picking it up, because there's no evidence yet that this guy was an associate of Kendrick Lamar. There is one person who picked it up in the US, and that was Academics, because Academics is going to ride for Drake all the time. Whack 100 called in and was like, yo, Ac, you guys got to take that down. And I think Ac actually did take it down, and was like, listen, this guy was around, and, he's in the background in a video, and he has no association with Kendrick Lamar. So for those of you who may have heard about this, has nothing to do with Kendrick. For now, if something else does come up and somebody does some research and finds out that it was his associate, for sure, we're going to drag him, because how can you accuse Drake of being that way, and Drake of having friends around him like that, Baca, because Baca actually has a real case. And then, you have people that are hanging around you that are like that too. Until we have further notice, this is why this story is not being talked about. So just wanted to answer that for my Canadians out here. All right. Our 8th quick story, the most watched global sporting event ever. All right, Netflix has put out its final numbers. A lot of people were talking about 60 million being their final number. Even I reported that. And when I did report it, I said, it sounds a little low to me. The new numbers and the official numbers, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson makes history with over 108 million live global viewers, not 60, over 108. So shout out to Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, Netflix. It was the most streamed global sporting event ever. And Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, too, was the most watched professional women's sport event in U.S. history. Just want to repeat that. The most watched professional women's sport event in U.S. history. Wow. For Netflix to hold that title and for Katie and Amanda to hold that title, that is amazing. I actually feel like Katie and Amanda 3 could be its own main event without anybody else on the co-main event, because they were co-main events with Jake Paul and Tyson. I think they could be on their own. So many people know about this fight now. Shout out to Jake Paul. He was one who made it happen. The first one 2 years ago at Madison Square Garden. I think this is really dope, and I cannot wait for part 3. I hope Katie doesn't get robbed this time. Our 9th quick story. This is a story broken by Megan, our correspondent, who gives me all the inside information with the Diddy case, Tory, and Young Thug. So shout out to Megan. I haven't seen any even blogs post about this yet. Megan says that the state has officially debunked Tory Lanez lie when it comes to the weapon that was used in the Megan Thee Stallion case. Tory Lanez is filing for appeal, and in his appeal, one of his things that his lawyer said was that the weapon is no longer available, and the judge and the court system has lost it. This has been debunked. It's not true. They have come out today and said the evidence and the property management division of the court does have the weapon, the magazines, and all the casings. They have everything. They're still willing to go to court at any time to hear Tory Lanez's appeal. This doesn't mean that he's not going to get his appeal. This just means that the weapons and everything else that was involved will be present at the court during his appeal. So stay tuned for that. I think that's happening the first quarter of 2025. 2025 is going to be crazy. We got Tory Lanez's appeal and we have Diddy's court case May the 5th, man. We're going to be busy, y'all. All right, this brings us to question of the day. If you have a high school student that works, should they contribute to household expenses? All right, the real Kesha 13 says no, make them save it. Siri 1285 says if you're struggling that bad that you need to take money from the high school kids, just say it. Somebody says yes, it's called a responsibility. Tony says yeah, let them just pay a little something just to get them acclimated to bill paying. Chara Michelle says they should be paying their own phone bill and car insurance. I think that's obvious. I think it's more household stuff, paying for their own things. That's almost a little bit of a given. Somebody said no, let them keep their money and teach them how to save. Another person said, bro, what kind of new parents are y'all? I hate it here. Coco Chanel 112 said, before they start working, how did y'all make it? Continue that. Your personal things and special food items, they should pay for that. Smith 82 said, no, leave these babies alone. They need to save their money. It's hard out here. Another person said, let the kids be kids. Somebody else said, yes, they should learn how to pay their bills. Another person said, yes, they need to learn financial responsibility and to be accountable. So I think it's kind of split right down the middle. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I don't have any time to give my opinion on this. We are running low on time. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Send me emails, trendoutloud@cfqr600.com. If we do get anything out of the middle and we do get some, better answers, I'll give them more on tomorrow's show. All right. All right, this brings us to sports news. It is official. James Harden is the second all-time three-point NBA player. So I have a picture up for those of you who cannot see this with, my guy. Oh my gosh, Steph Curry. Sorry, Steph, my favorite player. Steph Curry and James Harden hugging it out. I think this probably was from last night, maybe, I'm not too sure. But James Harden is officially now in second place. Unfortunately, he's not going to come anywhere near Steph Curry. Steph Curry is going to have that title for a long time to come, leading the NBA history from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the three-point shot. Is it three? No, sorry. That's LeBron that beat Kareem. Who did Steph beat? It's probably Reggie Miller, right? He probably beat Reggie Miller for that. Anyways, listen, I'm running out of time. So shout out to James Harden and Steph Curry, all right? Thank you so much for joining me on my Wednesday show. Don't forget to tune in for Thursday's show. Whoop, whoop, Thursday. The weekend's close, y'all. Before I let you guys go, just want to remind you guys of all the ways to keep up with the Trend Out Loud podcast. For those of you who are watching on YouTube or listening on podcast platforms, please try to check me out Monday through Friday from 11 to 12 on CFQR 600 or 600 AM if you're in the Montreal area. We do play the Trend Out Loud podcast, but we mix it in with 90s and 2000s hip-hop and R&B. So it's a great way to just get your entertainment and viral news while listening to your favorite hits from the 90s and 2000s, vice versa. If you're used to listening to this show on CFQR600.com and you cannot always catch the show from 11 to 12, we get it. You're busy. You got things to do. I am going to give you 3 ways to keep up to date with the show on CFQR 600's website, which you can reach from anywhere in the world. Once you click listen live, a window will pop up that says listen on demand. That means you could listen on demand to the Trend Out Loud podcast anytime you want to. There is also YouTube, which you all know that we upload daily there, and any podcast platform. Just go to your desired site, type in Trend Out Loud, the show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. We upload daily. You can follow me on any social platform. It's always the same handle, @Trend Out Loud. Don't forget to sign up for Blue Sky and follow me there. Don't forget to follow the media company Exo City Media on Instagram. And for everybody who's tuned in on CFQR 600, do not touch that dial. My homeboy Don Smooth is coming up next with the lunch mix from 12 to 1. And Don is always dropping the hits. I'll see you for Thursday's show. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Turn Out Loud. Peace.